My name is Colleen, and this is my kitchen. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. After trying every diet in the book without any success, I came to the realization that diets don't work. I started my journey at a size 26W, weighing just over 300 pounds. In almost a year and a half, I've lost over 120 pounds, and I am a size 14. No W. What's my secret? Eating healthy and moving more. Now I'm here to show you how you can cook healthy food without compromising on taste and lose weight just like I have. Because if I can do it, you can too.
Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. So it is really hot here today. That means that I don't want to be cooking in the kitchen at all. We're going to be outside grilling. And we're going to go to the Mediterranean tonight with a grilled eggplant panzanella. And panzanella is an Italian bread salad, and it was created by Italians as a way to use their stale leftover bread. So we're going to be making a somewhat traditional panzanella, but we're going to twist it up a little bit with some nice grilled eggplant and yellow zucchini to throw a little bit of color in it. And then we're going to accompany the panzanella with some grilled tuna that we're going to marinate in a really yummy rosemary marinade. So we want to get the panzanella going first because that's going to have to sit for about half an hour before we serve it, just to let all those flavors combine. So the first thing I want to do is just take one baby eggplant here, and you can either slice it. I like to wedge it, so I'm just going to cut it into quarters. Just like that. Leave them whole. And then for my yellow zucchini, what I'm going to do is cut this in half. And these are all vegetables that have either come from my garden or from the farmer's market. So nice and fresh, perfect light summer meal. To cut down on fat, we're not going to marinate this in any kind of olive oil or anything. Instead, I've just prepared my grill with a nice non-stick olive oil cooking spray. And we're just going to lay these right on the grill. That's going to have to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes per side. Don't want to let it cook too long, especially that eggplant. It gets really soft really quickly. So about 2 to 3 minutes each side. I'll see you back inside to finish chopping up our squash and our eggplant grilled up nicely. Look at those char marks. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to set that aside so it can cool. And while that's cooling, we'll work on the rest of our ingredients for our grilled eggplant panzanella. And what I have here are 6 Roma or plum tomatoes. Now you can use any kind of tomato. I like to use the Roma because it's an Italian tomato. It's an Italian dish. It just kind of goes together. And I'm using 6 of these. Some panzanella restaurants or recipes call for you to blanch the tomatoes and peel them. Too much work. I think the skins are just fine in there. I do recommend that you have them at room temperature when you dice them up. It just makes them a little bit juicier. And I don't seed my tomatoes either when I make my panzanella. And the reason for that is because I like the way that the juices combine with that bread. You'll see some panzanella recipes also call for you to actually core and seed the tomato. Then you're just left with pulp, mixing out on all the good stuff. So, as you can see, I'm just going to dice these up. And I'm throwing them in a fairly large bowl. Panzanella is it's a fairly large salad. It's difficult to make for a small party. So this actually is going to feed 6 people, believe it or not. And it'll make good leftovers, so I can take some for my lunch tomorrow to work. So next up, to the tomatoes that I've chopped, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of capers. Capers are have these little things here, and they're brined. Very, very low in calories. I think it's 10 calories for 2 tablespoons, which is exactly what we're using. But it adds a nice little saltiness and kind of brininess to the salad. So throw those in there. Then I have a whole bunch of fresh basil from my garden. I'd say about a cup of fresh basil leaves here. And I'm just going to chop this up and add it right to those tomatoes. So once that's chopped, that's probably about half a cup of basil there. Next, we're going to add some mozzarella cheese, and I'm using 4 ounces of fresh mozzarella. You want to make sure when you buy the mozzarella, you're looking for the word fresh mozzarella on the label. And it is a whole milk mozzarella, but I'm using 4 ounces in a recipe that's going to feed 6 people. So that's going to cut down the amount of fat and calories that we're going to get from this particular piece of the recipe. You could substitute a part skim or even a fat-free mozzarella if you wanted to. The taste isn't going to be the same. So I prefer to use something that's a little more flavorful, a little richer in taste, but less in the quantity than to use something that isn't as flavorful but use more of it, if that makes sense. So remember, everything in moderation, right? And you want to use the fresh mozzarella because it's just moister, it's just much more flavorful than your normal store-bought mozzarella that you would use, like, say, for a pizza or something. This is the type of mozzarella that you would also use for a caprese salad, which is that delicious tomato, basil, and mozzarella salad that you get in the summer. Okay, so for the cheese, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dice it up. And then I want to, because it is going to kind of stick together because it's so nice and fresh and moist, just kind of crumble it in there once it's diced. And I'm going to do that for all these pieces. Again, I'm using 4 ounces total. Our eggplant and our zucchini are cool enough for us to handle now. So what I'm going to do is take these and just chop them up. Just like that. Throw them right in that dish. We're going to add a little bit of liquid to our salad, and so I need 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You always want to use extra virgin olive oil in your salads and any kind of a salad dressing because it just gives you a lighter, kind of fruitier taste. And then I'm going to use twice that amount, 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Go ahead and press in 2 cloves of garlic. Then we're going to add a little bit of cracked black pepper. And just a pinch coarse sea salt, or I'm sorry, fine sea salt. Whisk that together. Let's pour that right over all those vegetables and herbs that we've cut up. Give that a good stir. Last but not least, we need the star of our show. I'm using half of a loaf of ciabatta, and I get this at Trader Joe's. They have a half a loaf of par-baked ciabatta. It's like $2 or something like that, and you just take it home and stick it in the oven for about 5 minutes at 400 and get this nice loaf of bread. You could use whatever kind of bread you want. I really like the ciabatta just because it's an Italian bread. It just kind of goes with the theme of the dinner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this up. And I should say that this half a loaf is equal to about 8 ounces. It's 4 servings for a half a loaf. Now some Panzanella recipes call for you to actually cut the crust off. I like the crust. I really like the crust, the peels on the bread when I have fresh bread. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cube this up. Okay, now that I have all of my bread added, I'm just going to give that a good toss here. I want to combine it really well, make sure that the bread gets completely soaked with all those juices. Okay, look how pretty that is. You can see the green of the basil and the yellow of the zucchini, and the red of those tomatoes. This is going to be fantastic. So what I want to do now is I want to cover this. I want to let it sit for about half an hour in the refrigerator, and that's just to let everything combine and all those flavors to get a little bit stronger. But while that's chilling, what I'm going to do is we'll start marinating our tuna. I'm using an Albacore tuna tonight, so we'll start marinating that and getting that ready to cook. For our tuna, we're using an Albacore tuna. I'm cooking for 4 tonight, so I have 4 fillets in this resealable plastic bag here, and I'm going to make a very simple marinade for it. First of all, I just want to use 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We're already using quite a bit of olive oil, and then of course with that cheese in the Panzanella, so I want to keep the tuna really light. And then I'm going to use a ½ cup of a dry white wine. Going with my Italian theme, I have a Pinot Grigio. 1 clove of garlic. We don't want to overpower this. So just 1 clove is fine. Nice fresh garlic, courtesy of my mother. Oh, I love fresh garlic because it's just so juicy. And let's not forget a little bit of pepper. I'm going to use coarse sea salt in this one. Just a sprinkle. And then, very Mediterranean flavor, rosemary. I've got 2 sprigs of rosemary here. I'm just going to take these needles off, and then I'm just going to chop these up. Okay, let's add that right into our mixture there. And just whisk that together. I'm going to pour that right over my tuna steak. Okay, so now I just want to lay these out, make sure they're flat so that I can make sure that the steaks get that each steak gets soaked in that juice. I'm going to put this in the fridge just for about 10 minutes before we start cooking it up, and we're going to serve this up. We're serving up a late dinner tonight, so it's already a little bit dark out here. What we're going to do is we're going to just throw these tuna steaks right on the grill. I'm going to grill them about 3 to 4 minutes on each side until they're just cooked in the center, basting them with the leftover marinade in between. So I will see you back inside when I show you how we plate this up. And here we go, our finished product. I have our grilled Mediterranean-style Albacore Tuna steak. Look at that. Nice herbs and the nice char marks on there. It's going to be so nice and tender and delicious. And then to accompany that, we have a grilled eggplant panzanella, our Italian bread salad that we've twisted up just a little bit by throwing in some grilled eggplant and yellow zucchini. I'm going to go sit down and enjoy my delicious dinner, and I hope that you will give it a try, and I hope that you'll let me know what you think too. And I will see you next time in my kitchen.